He drew a smiley face on the man's neck, but the same pattern appeared on his own neck. When the man turned over, everyone was amazed to find that the two looked exactly alike. The next second, the man opened his eyes. Then the whole world began to shake violently.
What? Oh
my God, what's happening?
What?
Wait, y'all gotta get him out of here.
Stop looking!
Go!
Seeing this, his companion quickly pulled him out. While they were all panicking, they kept muttering under their breath.
We did it! We really did it!
To verify the speculation in their minds. The next day, they took the lottery ticket they'd bought to the claim center, but were told they won $1.8 million. Their faces instantly turned pale. It turned out the companion had filled in one wrong number, so $53 million became just $1.8 million. Their distressed expressions immediately drew the ire of reporters.
It's $1 million, guys. Are you freaking kidding me?
So, a week later, they pulled the same trick again and took away another $30 million jackpot. Only then did everyone realize that the footage in David's camcorder was real. It turned out that from the very beginning, in the video of David's 7th birthday, they had seen their present selves. Even weirder, the clothes they were wearing matched exactly. Seeing this, his best friend was stunned speechless.
Holy shit.
The next day, they brought the video to school to study. They noticed in the video that David had a keychain in his hand, so they all took out their keys, but none matched the keychain. With no leads, they went to David's house. They recreated the stance from the video 1-to-1, trying to find clues from it, but they were only halfway through when David noticed that in the video, he seemed to be heading toward the basement. It used to be his father's workshop. Since his father died in a car accident, David had never been there again. Under their thorough search, they accidentally found a hidden compartment under the footmat. Inside was something David had never seen before. They placed the iron box on the table. Opening it, they discovered an unknown electronic device. When his sister brought the camera closer, the image instantly started to distort and glitch. Through the blueprints and documents inside, they found out that this thing was from DARPA, the U.S. Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. It was then that David realized that on the surface, his father was an employee of the power company. But secretly, he was researching high-tech products for the government, and the subject of the research turned out to be a time machine. The electronic device in the iron box. It was the core component of the time machine. Since father didn't turn it over to the state, it was clearly meant for David. So the group agreed in unison and immediately went to a hardware store to buy the needed equipment. After several nights of installing it through the night, they roughly assembled the entire machine. Then they stood 5 meters away, excitedly pressed the switch, but the scene was completely silent, with no changes whatsoever. Yet, the next second,
Oh, crap!
it turned out all the sisters' hair was standing on end. Then the room began to shake violently. Electric sparks flew everywhere, and the electronic device started running at high speed. Seeing this, David quickly removed the light bulb. The bulb, which should have gone out, was exceptionally bright in his hand, but soon the battery exploded due to overload. Although the first experiment failed, it made the 3 engineering guys even more excited.
From now on, film everything.
In the following days, they summarized the reasons for the failure and researched new methods day and night. A few days later, the second experiment commenced as scheduled. This time, the powerful electromagnetic energy not only made surrounding objects float and spin in the air, but when they placed their hand above the instrument, space-time afterimages even appeared. But in the end, the battery exploded from being overloaded. The ejected liquid splashed onto David, and this appearance was exactly the same as his in the video. In other words, they really could build a time machine. Just then, they heard a party going on next door. David had a brainwave. He directly connected a line to the neighbor's car battery. As David plugged in the connector, the entire basement began to shake instantly. Right at this critical moment, the car owner burst in. David had no time to explain. He quickly pulled her aside. The next second, everything before them seemed to slow down, and the whole neighborhood came to a sudden halt. But fortunately, their experiment finally succeeded. The red toy car was embedded in the wall, and the time on the watch showed that it had gone back 2 hours. The next day, the car owner Jessie found them. She said she also wanted to join in. At first, David was unwilling until he saw Jessie's keychain. Everyone realized that this was all fate. Back in the basement, David scaled down the time machine according to the proportions. This time, he no longer planned to use toys for experiments. They were going to try it themselves, to go back to a week ago. And then, they drove to a desolate wilderness. As David pressed the switch, a fierce wind suddenly howled around them, kicking up sand and stones. When everyone woke up again, they found themselves still in the same spot, with no changes. To verify if they had successfully traveled through time, David went to his best friend's house, and sure enough, saw the version of him from a week ago sleeping. The group playfully drew on his body, but accidentally woke him up when the two best friends from different timelines locked eyes. They actually glitched, nearly disappearing. Luckily, David quickly pulled his best friend away. To avoid this happening again, they set a rule: no one is allowed to travel alone. And next came their peak moment. They memorized the lottery jackpot numbers, then traveled back a week, going all in. But because his best friend was too nervous, he filled in one wrong number, turning the expected over 50 million prize into 1.8 million. When divided equally, it was only about 300,000. David gave the money to his mother as soon as he got it, while the others went on a crazy shopping spree. They bought everything they had only dared to dream of before. The best friend even booked the entire food truck section of a food street. He treated the whole school to a feast. For a time, they became the talk of the school. During this period, Jessie gradually developed feelings for David. To make her feelings known, Jessie deliberately arranged to be alone with him one afternoon, but David completely failed to notice her intentions. He even felt she was interfering with his experiment because she wanted to optimize the time machine and travel back 10 years. To save her father from a car accident, a few days later, she brought the improved time machine to the others, and amid their screams, they traveled back to the concert from 3 months ago. David even took out the VIP pass he had prepared and led them backstage, where they interacted with the singer on stage, fueled by hormones. Jessie once again took the initiative to confess her love to David, but at the critical moment, she chose to back down. When everyone returned, except for the two of them, everyone else was ecstatic. In the following days, Jessie was even more hot and cold with him.
Some things just aren't meant to be, you know?
David, watching the footage from that time, was full of regret. He actually liked Jessie too. On impulse, he broke the rules. He sneaks back alone, in secret. This time, he responds to Jessie's confession without hesitation. After returning to reality, he immediately calls Jessie to see if he has changed the outcome. Yet, the next second, his phone rings on the desk. Then, the door opens. Jessie walks into the room, in a bathrobe. It turns out that because of his actions, their relationship has changed, and they become lovers. But just then, trouble comes knocking on their door. Because they have traveled through time multiple times, they have altered history, creating many events that should never have happened. The most obvious one is on the day of the music festival. They indirectly cause a basketball team captain to get injured, resulting in his team not making it to the finals. The family members who were supposed to watch the game also change their plans, and one of those family members is an airplane pilot. His son's failure distracts him, ultimately causing a plane crash that kills 77 people. Everyone thinks they should go back and fix the history, but David is very unwilling to do so. The two sides have a huge disagreement. After returning home, he watches the video of him and Jessie, and he doesn't want to lose this relationship. So that night, he broke the rules again, traveling through time alone once more, by himself. He saved the basketball captain, who was supposed to be injured. Back in reality, he indeed could no longer find the news about the plane crash. Just as he was feeling relieved about this, his sister entered the room to remind him it was time to go to the hospital. It turned out his best friend had been in a car accident and had been unconscious for 3 days. Clearly, the butterfly effect from time travel was still ongoing. He immediately rushed back home and began planning to save his best friend. Once he finally sorted out the storyline and was about to use the time machine to travel back, Jessie burst in at that moment. And so, the two of them went back to the past together. Jessie was very unhappy with his rule-breaking behavior, but David had no time to explain. He rushed out the door to take action, but was stopped by Jessie. Feeling deceived, she was furious. The two argued more and more intensely. In the heat of the moment, Jessie admitted that the first time they met, she had actually already fallen for him. Even if David hadn't used his methods, they definitely would have ended up together. Upon hearing this, David immediately stepped forward and hugged her. Just as the two were venting their emotions, Jessie suddenly started glitching.
David, it's me! David, it's me! David, it's me! David, it's me! David, it's me!
No!
He lunged forward, but only managed to pull off a keychain. Back in the real world, his friend found him just then. From what the friend said, his best buddy wasn't hospitalized, but Jessie had disappeared for no reason. Seeing him so panicked, the friend immediately figured out he'd used the time machine on his own. As they were arguing, a piercing police siren sounded outside. Turns out the cops thought he was a kidnapper. To change all this from the root, he had to travel back 10 years and fix the history. But this required a lot of hydrogen, so he went to school, pried open the warehouse door, and quickly injected energy into the time machine. As he activated the machine, a fierce wind suddenly erupted around him, and the cops burst in at that moment. The next second, they were pushed back by a force. Then, time began to rewind rapidly.
Save him.
When he woke up again, he was already in the school warehouse 10 years ago. He rushed home without stopping. At that time, His 7th birthday party was going on inside, and he was holding the keychain and camera, standing in front of the mirror. Everything seemed to have returned to the starting point at this moment. Then he went down to the basement, where he saw his father. He was stunned at first. Then, surprisingly, he recognized David. He had so much he wanted to say to his father, even wanted to tell him that he would later die in a car accident, but thinking that this would cause many unpredictable disasters, he could only silently hug his father. His father seemed to sense something too. He told David to do what he had to do. Then he turned and left the basement. Immediately after, he set his father's research on fire. The time machine was damaged, and David uncontrollably returned to his own time, but his camera was left behind. 10 years passed in the blink of an eye. When David and his sister were cleaning the attic, they found 2 cameras. One belonged to his father, and the other had recorded the entire process of everything that happened